So welcome to episode 4 of our Real Leaders, Real Connection. And I'm really excited about this initiative that we get to actually hear the stories behind people and some key highlights from their life and really get to know people beyond that Facebook cover. So today we have with us Rabbi Sam Thurgood. Really excited to have you here. And
thank you so much.
I'd love to hear from you. If you can kick us off with what is your story or key highlight from your life that you would like to share with us today.
Great. Thank you, Daphne. It's great to be here with you. What I was thinking of was that this last December 2018, my synagogue, I'm a community rabbi, and my synagogue burned down. It was an electrical fault that caused a terrible fire. And, almost 11 o'clock at night, I got this call, the synagogue, the shul was burning down. And it was terrible, as you can imagine.
I actually remember the story, and even us being so far away, we were all impacted by it. It must have been a shock you got this call at 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah, what a shock. I mean, I was so disoriented. Unusually, I'd gone to bed early that night. And I woke up and somebody says to me, the shul's on fire. And I said to them, well, why doesn't somebody get a fire extinguisher? In my mind, it was a little, a little small fire in the rubbish bin or something.
You don't think the whole synagogue is burning down. You think, okay, a little fire maybe in the kitchen or something.
Yeah, you get there and there's fire engines and there's people around, and it was really a big deal. It was and it's obviously created a crisis for our community, which thank God I think we are navigating well. But the thing that I remember when I look back on sort of leadership lessons or experiences is that next day. We almost didn't sleep that night. We were trying to get fetch books, out of the building to salvage what we can. And then we had prayer service the next morning. We had shacharit in the courtyard of the shul because, that was the closest we could get. And then the rest of the day was, really the rest of the next few months was just rushing from here to there and sorting out this and that. And on that first day, I stopped and I said, I want to make a video explaining some of what happened, where we're at, how we respond to this, and what perhaps some of the path forward is.
Wow.
And it was.
So you wanted to document it. Your first instinct was, let's document what's actually going on.
Yeah, but less about documenting even, I would say, and more about kind of framing it for the community, giving a sense of what happened, what it means, where are we going from here.
Wow. Wow. And can I just ask, was the whole shul burnt down, the whole what was the extent of the damage?
So it was mostly the roof. The roof was almost completely destroyed. And the Aron Kodesh, the Holy Ark with the Torah scrolls, was destroyed. Out of our books, all of our library books, out of our 4,000, of those 3,000 are fine.
Wow.
And 1,000 went from being almost completely destroyed to being quite damaged. Between the fire and the water, that was the contents, a lot of the actual building, the walls were all fine. But it was really just the roof and the ark that was really the most badly hit.
So when you saw this, what came up for you? What did you feel?
The first thing I felt was that the helplessness. There wasn't anything that I could do. Anything all around. You've got the fire and rescue team, spraying water into the building, doing what they can do. None of us were really allowed close. The only really hands-on practical thing that we could do was when the firefighters would bring out some of the books from our library, we would carry those to next door. But in terms of meaningful act, it was quite painful to just be standing there and watching the shul burn and the fire was out and everything, and not be able to do anything meaningful.
Wow. Okay. So how did this change you? How did this experience change you as an individual? And then let's talk about as a leader.
Yes. How it changed me. One of the things was that it just kind of shocked me out of routine. There's things that you take for granted and so many things that you assume. And in many ways, looking back, I can see how I had my routine of what I would do in the average day and kind of going from, this task to that task. I'd finish this project and, start another project. It was sort of fairly cleanly mapped out.
Yeah. You think that when your life is going a certain way, you think that is going to just continue, right? There's no reason for anything to change, really.
Exactly. What it did for me, it completely turned everything on its head.
Yeah.
And in this sort of reinvention of myself that I almost had to do, I actually realized how many things before were not going the way I really wanted to.
Wow.
How much of what was, going so well and so smoothly was actually not going so well and so smoothly. Wow. But I settled into a routine and was just moving forward on that basis. And as much as it forced me to reevaluate all of the things that had been working and now weren't, I actually reevaluated things that I thought were working and discovered working.
Wow. So it was a real opportunity to relook at everything. It kind of broke everything down and required you to kind of build everything up and then really notice what was going on. So even the things that were maybe okay or seemed to be working were now reassessed from a new perspective.
Exactly.
Tell us, I'm sure there's a good inspirational story from all of this. So tell us something inspiring out of this challenge. And I'm thinking, brother, if you can come a little bit closer to the computer because I'm losing you. Okay, yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So what I was thinking of is coming back to that video that I made, kind of explaining and giving context. It was something that, as I said, was not on my to-do list. There was plenty to do, and nobody was asking for it. Nobody, but I took aside that time because this was, what I felt was necessary. This was something that I felt would give people, in my mind, almost an emotional container to hold all of or some of the feelings through which they were going, give it some context and framework. And I made that video and put it on YouTube and Facebook. And out of anything that I've ever done, that's been the most watched description made. For years I've done little videos and tips every single week. And, there are a couple of hundred people, a couple of thousand people. This was tens of thousands of
Amazing. So that's the one that goes viral, right?
Exactly. And I got a lot of positive feedback about it. But, what I realized for me is that so often what I had been doing, similar to what I said, was kind of going through my to-do lists, doing what had arrived at my plate, responding and reacting. And this was a time that I took the initiative to do something that I believed in and that I felt was necessary without having any, without having it put on my plate. In many ways, that was one of the most significant things that I ever did.
Amazing. So what would you say is a leadership lesson from this?
The leadership lesson is to find your vision, to pursue that vision, not to be, not to always be managing the situation as it is, but to think about what do I want for the situation to become? What is it that I can do to affect change that's in keeping with my own vision or dream or goal?
Amazing. So there's the vision for, I would imagine, the community and the synagogue and rebuilding, and also you're saying aligning that with your own vision for yourself in terms of, I'm going to add this and tell me if it resonates, but I'm kind of feeling who you want to become through this process and challenge and how you want to lead this time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that story. Where are you at now? How's the synagogue looking?
We're getting there. We actually had a significant meeting with the architect last night. We've got our new plans drawn up. It's taken us a fair amount of time to get our governance structures in place, financial structures process with the insurance and, all of those kind of things. We have plans drawn up. We are pursuing the community engagement around those plans and everything to do with that. There's all kinds of city processes with heritage and council. So we have made quite a lot of progress. We've got good plans, and we're hoping to be back in the shul and up and running again, either next year Rosh Hashanah around September time, or the end.
And what is your vision for this new shul? Because I think there's the element of, yes, let's get back to what we were in our kind of vibrant community. There's also maybe how can we do it in a different way, something that takes the learning from the experience.
Yeah, my vision for sure is very much about a spiritual home. And, I mean that in the full sense of the word. And we've seen that also in terms of how difficult it's been for people having lost the shul, is the significance of having a place that is your spiritual home, where you can be spiritual, where you can talk to God, where you can study Torah, where you can be with your community. It really is a home. And rebuilding, that's been a major focus, not just for me, but it's been a sentiment in the community generally, is that our shul needs to be a home. It needs to be somewhere that feels welcoming to people. It needs to be somewhere where you can connect in all of the different ways that people connect, but to provide those portals of connection, and also to draw you in. It's not a place that is somehow intimidating or distant.
Lovely. Thank you. And I really wish you everything of the best in this journey, because I think it's quite a journey. And just to end off, please tell us what city you're in and what you love about living in your city.
I live in Cape Town, South Africa, and what I love about it is that it is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Yeah. I grew up in Cape Town, but I had friends from Cape Town, and I always thought that they were unrealistically complimenting of their city. And I moved here and I said, no, they were quite right. It's the most magnificent mountains and sea and greenery, and just every time driving around the city, I think to myself, I hope I never take this for granted.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story and for being with us here today. And as I said, I just wish you everything of the best in the journey going forward.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity and for creating this wonderful space.
Thank you.